multi-talented. Okay. Baby dolls with knitting needles piercing their head are stuck to the exposed brick walls, sucked up from a horror movie crash by a centrifugal force. In the darkness, the black and white cat-face posters on the wall flash. On, off, and the drum beats start slow. 3 of them are coming from the east. They're standing at the cash machine between the pub and the bakery. Now they're waving down a black cab and clambering in. In the West End, they're pulling on trainers and rolling cigarettes, walking into town, gathering friends as they go. A lone Southsider is buying chewing gum at the garage. Now he's waiting for a bus, glancing at his watch, looking at change, feet tapping. All of them pull towards the sound, towards the centre. In town, a car roars down the main road, trailing behind a blare of drum and bass. Footsteps speed up, hearts beat faster. Excitement, nerves, excitement. Outside, a queue is starting to form. Soon it'll be snaking round the block. Inside, in the dark, empty cave leads to empty cave. And right at the centre, there's one guy on the dance floor, eyes closed tight, fingers pointing, heads moving, just out of time with the music. Lights flash across his face, dancing with himself to a beat that only he can hear. A tall girl, wearing skinny black jeans, a tight black t-shirt and a black apron, is walking from table to table, lighting a candle in each, creating puddles of light and grey, intimacy and anticipation. Low stools are grouped around the tables ready to be occupied. At the bar, the staff are stretching and chatting, flirting and waiting. Glasses have been polished, kegs filled, stocks replenished. Soon, action will be called. Clubbers will drift over from the cloakroom queue, the ticket booth and the bouncer searches. In an hour, the bar will be 6 deep, small people wriggling to the front, tall people passing money over their heads. Drinks will be poured and bottles refilled, moving around behind the narrow space of the bar in a choreographed dance. The occasional light brush in the back to indicate to someone to move, a hand in the waist, a suggestion for later. Now the music grows louder. In the toilets, girls are doing their makeup in the mirror, sitting on the ledge above the wash hand basins to give updates on the death and birth of relationships, knocking on cubicle doors and calling names to find their friends. As the night goes on, their makeup will have melted off their faces, and their hair will be slicked back with sweat, but they won't care. They'll look in the mirror with their pupil black eyes and think they're beautiful. Someone's brought in her boyfriend. He's sitting in a sink, legs splayed out. The girls don't look at him directly, but they know he's there. The door opens. The music creeps in. Beats now a little more insistent, light taps on the shoulder to wake you. In the corridors, the sound of the music's getting louder and echoing off the clammy walls. You and Alison dance along the corridor and push through the double doors which lead to the dance floor. The good old DJ leans over to change the record, her shiny long hair falling across the turntable, and she brushes it back behind her shoulders. It falls again a moment later, and she brushes it back again. She places a new record on the turntable and glances at the growing crowd. The beats get faster and louder, calling the dancers, and you can feel the ground vibrate. The DJ smiles to herself and takes a gulp of water, wipes her mouth, twists her hair up into a knot, arches her back and lets her hair fall down again. Tables are filling up and the bar is getting busier, and there are 5 people on the dance floor, then 6, then too many to count. Outside, in the pink blue light, there are 7 smokers smoking, shivering in the September night. They share cigarettes and flirt in a early in the evening, plenty of time later sort of way. Sarcastic remarks, speedy rejoinders, seduction, Glasgow style. Although only 2 of you smoke, all of you go out. Alison tells everyone again her theory: the smoking ban is going to lead to smokers only meeting other smokers and wee smoking babies being born. No one's listening to her. The air is cold and clean. Kirsten lifts her foot to tie her shoelace, holding on to tall Paul. Ross has gone to stake at a table and someone else wanders off to get the Jack Daniels. You're all drinking it, but you don't like it. In an hour, you'll have all moved on to water and then to aftershock, which will fizz up to your brain and down to your fingertips and to your toes. And you'll laugh when Alison misses her mouth. She'll hug you in a sweaty embrace and tell you that she's glad you're her friend. And you'll dance onto the dance floor, hand in hand. Tall Paul would steal someone's boa and dance around and strike a pose. Because the 7 of you have been here before. Susie and Tall Paul, easygoing Ross, new girl Kirsten, and Davy and Alison and you. Twice a week, then once a week, then once a month. And these are the best moments of your life. You'd met up earlier at the flat with no windows behind the botanics, and you'll go back there later and drink warm red wine or hot tea and smoke acrid joints and talk about the night and plan the next one. But in between, you can all go off to your own adventures. You'll find each other suddenly in the toilet queue or at the bar or in the crowd, and you'll hug and greet each other like long-lost friends. And someone will pass around the water, and someone will get a round of shots, and someone will count heads and realise that one of you is missing. And, like recounting the 7 dwarfs, it'll take a while to work out which one. The drums are faster now. You finish the Jack Daniels and grimace. Your toes have started to move, and then your feet and your hips sway in time to the music. And you wander away from your group into the dark, and then the dance floor where skinny, damp bodies are writhing. 2 minutes, 2 hours, you don't know. Reunions and hugging, water and vodka, Coke tasting super sweet, beer disgusting and bitter. Strangers laugh and offer you water and their telephone numbers. You must meet up, of course you must, because you're new best friends. Definitely. The DJ is an older guy now, I've seen it all before sort of guy, a when is my shift over sort of guy, but he knows what he's doing. Your ears are ringing and your feet are tingling and you're jumping higher and higher until maybe you can jump right into the sound. The bass line is thumping and the music gets darker and darker. To one moment you're in the crowd, the next you've climbed right down into yourself. You're on the knife edge, teetering between absolute separateness and absolute togetherness, and you could go up or down. Someone's arms are wrapped around your waist. You turn round. It's tall Paul and you hug him tightly. He smells of lime soap when you breathe him in. He leads you to an empty stool behind a pillar and drapes his arm over your shoulder. Before you and Ross, you'd occasionally looked at him and thought, maybe. And sometimes, when Ross is telling jokes in the taxi queue, his whole body acting out the story, you and tall Paul would meet eyes and acknowledge that he'd thought maybe too. Right now, you're sitting together quietly in the noise. You're holding hands warm and smooth, and you don't want to be anywhere else but right here, right at this moment. You throw a shot back and laugh and talk about how you never thought you were going to like him so much when you'd argue in the toilet queue at someone's crap party. And he tells you that his mate had thought you were pretty. You thought he was cute, but arrogant. You still think that, but you don't tell him. It's the best vodka you've ever had, and you lick your lips and put your arm behind your head and lean back against the wall. He asks you if you like Ross. You tell him that you usually go out with people you don't like to add some interest in otherwise mundane life. And he sighs and makes a face and says, aye, but do you like him? And you look directly at Paul and say, yes. Later, you'll check your phone, and there'll be 8 texts saying, where are you? You still won't know. You're back, right in the crowd, right at the DJ box, but this time crowd's pressing against you. The drum beats get faster and you're lifting up and up. You're smiling, mouth stretched back. The bass is harder and faster. Your feet are tingling and your gang are next to you. And you're all facing the DJ. The DJ's looking down, pretending not to care as he whips up the crowd. The music is louder and louder and faster and higher and higher, and he cuts it. And the crowd starts to scream, more, give us more, give us more. And he does. And the crowd's let out a roar. And you're all throwing your bodies around right back into it. Your group get together in a huddle, arms around shoulders, moving as one. And if you're thinking, it's that you want this to last forever. But the music will stop. Faces startled as the lights come on. In the cloakroom, Q, beery boys, faces sliding, will want to be everyone's best mate. But they have lost the confidence they had 5 minutes ago. Young girls will be walking with stilt stilettos, mascaras running, eyes dazed. Air will blow in through the fire escape. You will seek each other out, and someone will take the cloakroom tickets, and someone will go to the toilet, and someone will go to find Paul. He'll be chatting at the bar girl, and she'll be laughing as she wipes the glasses. There'll be a party somewhere, but you all head back to the Botanics, wind creeping along your arms, sweat cooling. You will bounce along the street in your 7-league trainers, and you will think you could walk forever. But that's later. The drums are drumming, and the crowds are dancing, and they're starting to roar, and right now, you're right here. Thanks.